once again to each one of you. And this is the webinar series which PHDCCI Tourism and Hospitality Committee, led by Mr. Pawan Sagar Jain as the chair, and Mr. Kishore Kaya as the co-chair, and Mr. Rajan Sehgal as the co-chair, started this, I should say. This is the 18th webinar and the final webinar as far as the border tourism webinar series is concerned. And today's the focus state is Sikkim. I can see that at this point in time, it's more than 34 people have joined, and I have been told that some of the students and meaningful stakeholders are also going to join, and we are expecting at least 150 participants in this final webinar series on Sikkim today. And as you all are aware, we initiated this webinar series approx 1.5 years back, and then tourism committee of PHDCCI is ensuring that we must cover each and every state which enjoys the border with the other countries, and how the infrastructure really needs to take place, how the infrastructure really needs to be robust. That we are basically talking with all concerned stakeholders, so that these border districts eventually become the tourist places. So ladies and gentlemen, with this brief note, let me share it with you that we are being highlighted by the media also in this webinar series on border tourism. And we are also going to have a physical program in Jaisalmer on this border tourism that is going to happen on 27th, and that is the culmination program which is going to happen on 27th of February. So with this brief note, ladies and gentlemen, let me request our president, Mr. Pradeep Multani, President PhD Chamber, to kindly give the presidential address. Over to you, Mr. Multani.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yogesh Srivastava. Good afternoon to everyone. I welcome you all to the 18th edition of Border Tourism Webinar Series with Focus State, Sikkim. I'm really honored to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers, Mr. Rohan Agwane, IAS Additional DM, West Sikkim, Government of Sikkim, Mr. Rama Kamaraju, Senior Consultant, ADP, Niti Ayog, Mr. SS Dev Barman, Regional Director, India Tourism Northeast, Mr. Sonam Norge, President, Travel Agents Association of Sikkim, Mr. Karma Kuto, Executive Member, Homestay Association of Sikkim, Mr. Pawan Sagar Jain, Chair, Tourism and Hospitality Committee, PHDCCI, Mr. Rajan Sehgal, Co-Chair, Tourism and Hospital Committee of PHDCCI, Dr. Yogesh Srivastava, Assistant Secretary General. Ladies and gentlemen, it is heartening to see such a strong panel who are all experts in their areas, and we look forward to hear their expert views and learn from their experiences. I will begin with a brief introduction of PHD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. PHDCCI has been working as a catalyst for the promotion of Indian industry, trade, and entrepreneurship for the past 116 years. As a partner in progress with industry and government, PHDCCI works at the grassroots level with strong national and international linkages for propelling progress, harmony, and integrated development of the Indian economy. PHDCCI, acting as the voice of industry and trade with a large membership base of 150,000 direct and indirect members consisting of large, medium, and small industries, has forged ahead, leveraging its legacy with the industry knowledge across multiple sectors to take Indian economy to the next level. Tourism is considered to be the most prominent and convenient industry for the development of remote, peripheral, and rather rural border land. The border areas of all the states and union territories are rich in natural, fabricated tourism potentials. There are several virgin mountain peaks, ruins, and unprotected monuments, rivers, rich local cultures, and other unspoiled tourism resources which should be further explored by tourists. Through all these programs organized under the Border Tourism Webinar Series, it is evident that there is huge scope for development of border tourism in the country. I'm hopeful that in today's webinar, we will be able to come up with a strategic framework to develop border tourism in Sikkim. Honorable ADM and our Travel Agents Association of Sikkim, we would strongly request you people to send a proposed travel plan for us, where we can share that, because we all firmly believe Sikkim is one of the most beautiful places in the country. So since you are the experts and local people there, please suggest to us how we could take a delegation of our members on, a holiday visit to Sikkim. We shall really appreciate it, and also your suggestion as to what is a good time to come to our beautiful land of Sikkim. With this note, I would like to extend my warm greetings to those participating in today's webinar and wish it great success. Thank you, Jai Hind, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much for your wonderful words. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share it with you. Post-COVID, that it is our endeavor that inbound tourism must be increased at all the states. So during this exercise, our President, Mr. Pradeep Multani, was there yesterday in Dehradun, and where we talked about the ease of doing business and also how the tourism is certainly going to take shape in a bigger way in Uttarakhand. And the number of print media reports are there where Mr. Pradeep Multani has already spoken that the ways tourism is a game changer as far as Indian states are concerned. And Sikkim, as he has said rightly, one of these states, a paradise, I should say, which attract number of tourists. So ladies and gentlemen, with this note now, let me request our chairman, Mr. Pavan Sagar Jain, who is also the chairman of Bel Air and the chairman of Tourism and Hospitality Committee, PHDCCI, to kindly set the theme for today's talk. Over to Mr. Jain. And may I request Sulagna to kindly request the admin to mute everybody except the speaker so that there is no background noise in that. Over to Mr. Pavan Sagar Jain.
Thank you, Dr. Srivastava. How are you doing? I welcome all the participants to this border tourism, highlighting the potential of tourism in border districts of India, with a focus on Sikkim. The theme address is being addressed by our guests Roshan Agawani, Rama Kamaraju, S.S. Dev Burman, Sonam Norge, Karma Thituk, Pradeep Multaniji, Rajan Saigal, and Dr. Yogesh Shrivastava. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to all the speakers and all the guests and all members of our PhD chamber. On behalf of PHDCCI, I am pleased to welcome all these dignitaries to the unique webinar on border tourism with focus on Sikkim. Sikkim, one of the best, most beautiful states of India. With the support of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and respective state tourism boards, the Tourism and Hospitality Committee of PHDCCI has launched the Border Tourism Webinar Series in the month of June 21. 17 webinars have already been organized till date, which have received overwhelming response from the government officials as well as the industry members, and the results are showing already. India is full of beautiful places within its massive landmarks with innumerable places to explore. Sharing its boundary with Afghanistan, China, Pakistan, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, and Bangladesh, there are a number of scenic spots in the country where your domestic travel might turn international border tourism. Let us all explore the places where one can almost see the boundary disappear into another country. Being the gateway to the Himalayas, Sikkim is known for its beautiful scenery, green meadow, crystalline lakes, towering mountain ranges. Sikkim is the border by Nepal, Bhutan, and China, and hence there is no dearth of tourism places in the earth. Above all, it's also the foothills of the Himalayas. PHDCCI is committed to create such meaningful platform to do its bit in enabling all the parameters of the tourism industry to go further. I wish a great success to this meeting. Thank you. Over to.
Thank you, Mr.
sir.
Jan. Thank you very much for your words. May I request Sulagna to kindly take over from here, because there is an issue, or Mr. Rajan Sehgal, because I'm right now on a highway, and there is an issue of internet connectivity. So post you see the show the presentation, then I would request Mr. Rajan Sehgal to take over and initiate the proceeding. Over to Sulagna.
Thank you, sir. So this is the PPT that we have prepared for promotion of border tourism in Sikkim. Sikkim is bordered by Bhutan, China, and Nepal. And today we are focusing on the West Sikkim district, which is bordering Nepal. There are 3 border districts in Sikkim: North Sikkim, West Sikkim, East Sikkim. The West Sikkim district is basically famous for the rich cultural heritage and sacred landscape. This is the map of the district. There are a number of tourist places in West Sikkim: Peling, Yuksam, Soreng, Versi, He Bermiok, Uttarai, Tashiding, Sombaria, Rinchampong, Dentam. And we also have the ADM of West Sikkim district today addressing the webinar. I'm sure he'll be able to share more insights on the tourism products of West Sikkim district. Challenges and way forward, this we have listed for all the 18 states webinars that we have organized so far. And this is the webinar calendar that we have done webinars on all these states. And today we conclude the series with Sikkim. Thank you. Rajan sir, over to you, if you can kindly take it forward from here.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and it's really an honor to share the platform with such an eminent and intelligent speakers. And our President, Shri Pradeep Multaniji, and Chairman Pawan Sagar Jain Tourism Committee have already given their notes. So now I request Mr. S.S. Dev Barman, the Regional Director, India Tourism Northeast, to share his experience about Sikkim and give us some knowledge, because you are the right person who can share a knowledge about this region. Over to you, Mr. Barman.
Hello.
Mr. Dev Burman, if you can
hello.
unmute. Yes, you're audible now.
Audible and yeah, and visible also?
Yes, visible also.
I see. So I'm not an invisible man anymore.
You are always visible.
Okay, I mean, first of all, from the core of my heart, I am just congratulating to all of you, especially the organizer, because you have taken the initiative to highlight Northeast, which needs all the times to get the limelight in the national level, because hardly we get any kind of positive publicity. The reason is unknown, but you people have actually taken the initiative for highlighting the beautiful places in Northeast. I mean, whenever I'm talking about the beautiful places, not only beautiful places, beautiful people, culture, food, culinary, a lot of things, you know, I mean, related in it. So thanks once again. And today, before I mean, my predecessor already talked scholarly about the tourism potentials of Sikkim and the border, how it is important in every sense from tourism aspect of things, you know. So I don't want to elaborate it much more. What I want to say is that Sikkim is the smallest state in India and is located in the northeastern part of the country. And Sikkim is bounded by, bordered by Nepal, Bhutan, and Tibet. And hence, there is no dearth of tourist places in Sikkim. Undoubtedly, and being the gateway to the Himalayas, Sikkim is known for its beautiful scenery, green meadow, crystalline lakes and towering mountain range. This kingdom of mountain has a personality of its own. So you will be lost in the captivating destinations in the state and also see the coexistence of Hinduism and Buddhism, which has given rise to a unique and peaceful culture to the state of Sikkim. Sorry. Sikkim is a land of monasteries, the beautiful structure like every inch of the state. You will find it hard to not fall in love with this land, with its clean and green roads, valleys, mountain tops, and meadows. The Eastern Himalaya state comes with a rhododendron groves and thick woodlands, orange and apple orchards, and its peaceful ambience hitting whoever visit it, it's hard. Sikkim is the place to visit when the rest of the country is burning during the summer months. The mountainous state proved to be an amazing gateway from the heat and mundane life in the plains. So you will see a horde of wildlife, wildflowers during summer. This feel of the valleys and truly make you visit worthwhile. So Sikkim is your go-to for trekking into the Himalayas and river rafting on the Tista and Rangit. At a higher altitude, you will see that monsoon clouds often surround the mountain tops, giving the place a mesmerizing look and feel like Sikkim is a sanctuary of wildlife, primarily home to snow leopard, wild goat, black bear, blue sheep, flying squirrel, and the famous red panda. The cultural and ethnic background of the state makes it a half curious tourists throughout the year. Sikkim is as beautiful in winter as it during the summer months. So, friends, I mean, all of you are welcome to Sikkim, and through your platform also, I would like to request to all listeners and to all my friends throughout the country, please do visit Sikkim. You will never be disappointed. There will be all the times a lot of excitement. Thank you. Thanks once again.
Rajan sir, please unmute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dev Barman. It's always a pleasure to listen to you and to get knowledge from you, which you share with us. And can I just check about the accommodation and the connectivity, how to reach there, and what are the places to stay for our viewers who
connectivity is that
who are listening to that?
Connectivity is that train line connectivity up to North Bengal. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah.
So
yes, we can hear you.
There is a train connections up to North Bengal. From North Bengal, you can actually hire vehicle. You can go up to Gangtok and rest of the Sikkim. And then there is a Paktai airfield, and off and on this airfield is not functioning. But I personally suggest that instead of flying, better try to come by train.
Okay. And I think the nearest airport is Bagdogra also. From Bagdogra, one can take
up to Bagdogra. Up to Bagdogra, you can come. From Bagdogra, once again, you need to hire vehicle, or the vehicle will have to be arranged for you.
Oh, I see. Okay. And can you throw some light on the accommodation one can have there? What's
accommodation? As far as Gangtok is concerned, there is no dearth of star category type of hotels. There are a lot of heritage hotels also, but there, and those hotels are really worth to stay. And there was one hotel. I'm sorry, I'm extremely sorry, I've forgotten right now. Devarand also made a shooting over there. Some portions of that song of that particular song, that Bhujintimala Devanand that jewel thief. That hotel still maintain that particular hall. You know, I'm saying it's so lovely.
Jewel thief. Jewel thief.
Jewel thief. That particular song are very famous. You know, I forgot. Bujintimala and Devanand. The last song. You know, so still those hotels are those type of hotels are still there over there. So it is worthwhile to stay in those kind of hotels.
So thank you very much. I think that song was Photo Pe Aisi Baat Main Chupa Ke Chali Aayi. I think that
right.
was the song.
Pawanji, I salute you.
Yeah.
I really.
Okay, thank you. And I think you have given us a very good lead because we are doing our 5th annual film tourism conclave in April, and we can give this example of film shoot in Sikkim also. So that is a great learning from you.
Actually, for your kind information, I was actually invited to attend their Sikkim government film festival, but due to the Omicron,
right.
it was supposed to be held in the month of middle of the January of this year, but it was postponed due to the advancement of the Omicron.
Okay, but we will invite you for our annual film tourism conclave in Mumbai, which is an annual event, and I think there you can interact with a lot of Bollywood production houses and foreign international tourism boards also. So thank you very much, Mr. Dev.
Thank you. Once again, thanks to all from the core of my heart. Core of my heart. I love.
Thank you. We'll be in touch. Thank you. And now we have a very eminent speaker, Mr. Rohan Agwane. He's a very young, dynamic IAS officer, additional district magistrate, West Sikkim, Government of Sikkim. Sir, you play a very important role because you are right there at the West Sikkim district. So can you throw some lights to the viewers so they can know more about that place? And there are a lot of students who are the future of the travel and tourism industry listening to this program from all over India. So over to you, Rohanji.
Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to all. President PHDCCI, Chairman Tourism and Hospitality Committee, PHDCCCI, Regional Director of India Tourism Northeast, all the panelists and all the participants. A very good afternoon to all. Thank you for inviting me here and giving me this platform to share the beauties of Sikkim. Let me highlight the prominent things for which Sikkim is known for, and also those things which are not very much well known to the people. But as pointed out earlier in this webinar, that Sikkim is full of natural beauty. And it's just not about the natural beauty. There are so many other things which generally people don't know about, especially the district where I am posted, West Sikkim district. So this district is a district which borders with the international, it has an international border with Nepal. And there are several aspects of tourism which I would be talking about. So let me first define the scope of tourism in this district. As pointed out earlier, ecotourism is something which everyone is already aware about. The Sikkim is full of natural beauty. It's full of different terrains of mountains. You'll find here green mountains. You'll find here dry desert mountains in the North Sikkim. You'll find snow-clad mountains. You'll find rivers, streams flowing through the hills. So it's full of natural beauty. That is one aspect of tourism. Another aspect is agro-tourism. Sikkim is amongst the very few parts, especially this district is among the very few parts in India where fruits such as kiwi, fruits such as oranges are grown here. And also it's famous for large cardamom production. And let me tell you that it's not just one variety of cardamom which is famous here. There are, if you visit the different parts of the district, you'll find that there are so many varieties of cardamom production which goes on in the district. So it's full of diversity, it's full of natural beauty. And apart from that, there's so many other traditional herbs, medicines, plants which are grown here, which also we are in the process of trying to record and document it. So it's full of all these natural beauties and famous for agro-tourism. Another point which I would like to highlight is about adventure tourism. There are so many places, there's so many tourists who come here, many from outside India, many foreigners come here because there are so many tourist tracks which are available here. Some go even up to the base camp of Kanchenjunga, from where you can have a scenic and a pristine view of the Kanchenjunga range. Another aspect is culture tourism. There's so many tourists come here and want to experience the local culture. Sikkim has a very large diversity in terms of culture. There's so many different tribes which stay here. Prominently among them are the Bhutias, the Lepchas, Nepali, and even within each, there are so many different communities who stay here. And you find a different culture when you go and visit them, when you stay with them. And that is why there is a very famous concept of homestays here. People generally prefer to stay in homestays to have that local culture. And when I talk about culture, everything is covered under it. How do they stay? What kind of food they eat? What kind of clothing do they have? What kind of economic activities as they undertake? How close they are to nature? Because you find that many people in villages, they have all the economic activities and everything going on within the place where they are staying. They would be involved in farming activities. They would be involved in dairy farming, animal rearing. And so a tourist who comes to stay in the homestay gets an overview of all these aspects. It is not just staying with the local family, but getting to know a deeper sense of how they live. What are the different sources of livelihood for them? Another aspect is religious tourism. Sikkim is one of the very few places, as I pointed out, where Buddhist religious places are found. So there is a very famous religious pilgrimage circuit which is followed in West Sikkim, and that circuit covers the following monasteries. It starts from Dubdi Monastery, Dubdi, Norbugang, Tashiding, Pema Yatse, Sangha Choiling, and it goes up to Khechepari Lake, which is a very famous sacred lake in West Sikkim. And Pema Yatse is one of the most reputed and one of the oldest monasteries in entire Sikkim. It's highly revered monastery here in Sikkim. So we see that the district has so much of potential. There are so many different types of tourists who can come here and use this opportunity to experience this local feeling and local culture. But at the same time, there are also several problems that we are facing, and several issues that we are facing, which is causing some kind of an hurdle for many tourists to come here. First of all, it's about the road connectivity. We see that the entire population of the state is around 7 lakhs, whereas the tourist inflow estimated is close to around 25 to 30 lakhs. So we see that the tourist flow is almost 4 times the entire population of the state. So the road connectivity is not able to cater to all the tourists, and we see road jams. Frequently we see landslides also. It's a highly delicate ecosystem here, and the landslide is a frequent occurrence, and there are times when the entire road gets washed out, and the areas are completely isolated and cut off from the other areas. So it's a very different challenge that we face here, and it's beyond our control. It's a completely natural phenomenon. Of course, to some extent we can identify the delicate areas and take some preventive actions, but in most cases that is not so. It's very difficult to keep a watch over the such vulnerable places. So it's getting overcrowded. As I said, as I spoke about the numbers, the road connectivity is not proving to be sufficient to carry the load of the tourist vehicles, of the tourist population flowing in continuously. So and of course there are several road projects in the pipeline. But another issue is that most of the land of Sikkim comes under forest department, and getting forest clearances is a very tedious and a very cumbersome task, which takes a very long time. And that's why so many projects keep languishing for so long. I see in my district itself, there have been several projects. We have been trying to improve the connectivity of the armed forces. There is SSB posted here. We're trying to improve their connectivity, but so many projects are getting stuck because the forest clearances are pending, and it's a very cumbersome and a very tedious task. So this is another reason why the road connectivity is not improving. Second, it's about public transport, lack of public transport. So as was told previously by a regional director, that you have to land at Bagdogra airport, and from there you have to take a taxi. Now taxi is a very expensive business here. To give you an idea, if somebody wants to go from Bagdogra to Gangtok, he will have to shell out at least rupees 5,000 from his own pocket to hire a taxi. And there is no other mode of transportation available to him. There are very few taxis, there are very few shared taxis which run, but it's not dependable. Someday they might run, someday may not. You may not get the seats for everyone in the family if you're traveling with a family. So it's a very expensive business for tourists to travel. And we are talking about we just don't want the high income tourists to come in. We also want everyone to enjoy this beauty. So somebody coming from middle class family shelling out 5,000 rupees for a 4-hour trip is a big amount. So, and we have to create alternate modes of transportation. So for that, I think another the one way could be having public transport, and there is completely lack of that, maybe because of the volumes, but this is something which we are lacking here. Another thing is about the airport operation. Bagdogra is the nearest airport, but there's another airport which was opened up just 3 years back here in Sikkim. It's called the Pakyang Airport. But the airport has a very small airstrip. Only ATRs can land there. So it has its own limitations. Another limitation is that the airport is not well equipped right now because it's a new airport. So it needs to have a clear visibility of 5 kilometers. And it's a huge ask in a terrain like Sikkim, where often we find that the weather just becomes bad anytime. It just abruptly changes and the visibility goes down drastically. So often we find that the flights, they are getting cancelled, and then at the last moment cancellation of the flight creates a panic situation for the tourists. Then they have to find some alternate mode of transportation, find alternate flights. Now, since everyone is looking for that alternate flight, the prices rise up, or you may not sometimes even get the flights because there are limited number of flights which land at Bagdogra. So these are the challenges that the tourists face. But if you talk about specifically about this West Sikkim district, another challenge is that there is no airport which is close to. Even the Pakyong airport, which is close to, which is situated near Gangtok, it's around at least 5 hours drive away from Gazing, which is the district headquarter of my district. The Bagdogra airport also takes around 4 to 5 hours. So there is no nearest airport connectivity. And that is why what is happening is tourists, they don't come here. Many tourists, they prefer to go to Gangtok because that is what they have heard about. Maybe they are not aware about the beauty of this part of the Sikkim. And also same time, it is a cumbersome travel. If you want to come to West Sikkim, you have to have at least 2 days because you will be traveling from Gangtok or from Bagdogra 5 hours drive. You'll be getting tired. You like to rest, and on the next day you would be moving around, and then you'll have to take the entire day out, and then on the third day you would be moving out of this place. So you just to visit this part of the Sikkim, you have to give 3 days, which is a huge ask for people in today's time where there is so much of paucity of time. Another problem is that there are no group tours which are happening. In other parts of, like I come from Mumbai. I'm in Mumbai. There is this Mumbai Darshan bus which goes on, which starts in the morning for the entire day. It takes you around. Now it's a very economical option for someone because because it costs very low. But that option is not available, sadly, till now in Sikkim, because of which again the travel costs increase drastically. So if this kind of a facility would be available, I think it would reduce the staying cost and the travel cost of the tourist. And lastly, I would like to say that this part of the Sikkim, as I said before, many tourists are not aware about this place. When when we talk about Sikkim, the only place people know is Gangtok, but Gangtok is just one of the places, and tourists are missing out on the most pristine, the most beautiful parts of Sikkim because they are not being told about the different parts of Sikkim, what kind of beauty exists in the other parts of the Sikkim. In Sikkim, every district has its own beauty. Like in Gangtok, Gangtok falls in the eastern district. In North Sikkim, you will find snow-clad beauty. There is a very famous Guru Dongmar Lake, which is situated in the North Sikkim district. In my district, you'll find a lot of greenery. You'll find trekking routes. You'll find religious tourism. In South Sikkim, you'll have another different circuit for religious tourism. So every district has its own beauty, and this is not getting highlighted for now. This is something where we are lacking. If that could be told to the tourists, I think that will create more attractiveness for this place. And combined with the improvement in the road connectivity, I think it can be a major boost for tourism, and that can help in reviving the economy of the state that can create so many different employment opportunities for so many people. And definitely it will be a win-win situation for everyone. So that's all I wanted to say from my side. Thank you very much once again. And I would be happy if there are any more questions regarding the presentation that I just made.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rohanji. You have given us a very, very clear picture, and I think you have, given a right message that we crowd one particular place like Sikkim. Everybody knows, even being in the travel industry, Mr. Pavan Gyan is also a veteran of the travel and tourism industry. We know Gangtok. The marketing and awareness of the state, is very, very important. You said there are 7 lakh population, and you get 4 times a tourist to that particular place. So I think India needs more states like this, because our outbound is 4 times higher than what we get inbound, So this is the right example. But if we create awareness and marketing about the state, I think the tourists will scatter all over the state. Like in Himachal Pradesh, people always go to Shimla and Kulu Manali, but there are so many other nice places in Himachal Pradesh. So you are very rightly said, the marketing and awareness is very important. Then the connectivity, the roads also, and since it's a long road journeys, I think roadside facilities are also very important for the tourists, where they can break the journey, have the view of the nature, take some snacks, some nice hygiene toilets also. These are important. And Pavanji, want to say something, because he said that transportation is very expensive, and I think he has given a very, very clear picture what all we have to convey to the government, to the Ministry of Tourism, to if we want to promote these states. So you want to say something, Pavanji, about that?
Rajan, I think there's a lot to be done, and it's good to get a clear picture of the difficulties that a tourist has visiting Sikkim. I've been to Gangtok, and then it was quite a troublesome job to go around the area, but I think it's one of the most beautiful places that you have ever been in the Seven Sisters. It's an amazing place, and I think the government of India should do something about promoting the tourism to Sikkim. Thank you.
Thank you, Pawanji. And Rohanji, such a young and dynamic officers who are there in Sikkim, I think you have conveyed a very good message, and it will go in our white paper report to the Ministry of Tourism. And now I request Sulagna to show a film on Sikkim. Over to you, Sulagna, please.
Incredible India.
Beautiful. I think this is the destination which, once the travel and tourism will open, I think the tourists will be looking for these kind of destinations. Sikkim is right under the Himalayas, surrounded by nature, fresh air, open. I think this is the right place with full of monasteries and pilgrimage, which is the need of the future tourism. And now we have a very eminent panelist from Niti Aayog, who is our great partner and giving us a lot of support for this 18th webinar on border tourism. And I request Mr. Saurabh Rishi from Niti Aayog to say a few words about this state. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, and good afternoon to all the people attending this webinar. Respected panelists and the organizers, I think so. This is a great initiative by PHDCCI to cover tourism-related aspects in relation to the border districts. And West Sikkim is the aspirational district from Sikkim. And the Aspirational Districts program focuses on improving the socio-economic indicators of the most underdeveloped districts in the country. And as the eminent speaker before me, ADM from West Sikkim, was mentioning, there's a lot of issues with respect to connectivity and road connectivity, and maybe even other aspects in terms of awareness. But just to give a feedback that, I mean, West Sikkim has been doing quite well in terms of the Aspirational Districts program, in terms of improving various indicators related to which might directly or indirectly affect tourism sector in terms of basic infrastructure, connectivity, sanitation, drinking water, and also in terms of skill development and other aspects, which in terms improve the tourism of a particular district. And the tourism in turn provides a lot of economic opportunities, which in turn then improves the socio-economic indicators such as health and education and other aspects. Just to show that, I mean, there are immense opportunities, obviously, as the ADM mentioned. But from Niti Aayog, we fully support the awareness and promotion of tourism aspects, activities in West District in Sikkim. And it will also improve the socio-economic indicators, and it will be an overall progress for the district. Thank you so much for the, and once again, wishing all the best to the district and to border tourism in these districts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saurabh ji, for your kind words. And now we have Mr. Sonam Norgay. He is the president of Travel Agents Association of Sikkim. And since you are very closely doing the travel and tourism activities in Sikkim with your tour operators, so can you share your knowledge about Sikkim and what are the expectations from our clients for Sikkim? So kindly share your knowledge. Over to you, Sonam ji. I think we have some connectivity problem with Sonam ji. So in the meantime, can I ask Karma ji, the executive member of the Homestay Association of India, if you can unmute yourself and tell us about the homestay, how homestays are doing in Sikkim. And as we know that staying in a home will give you the best local experience about your hospitality, about the culture, about the food, and the knowledge we get from the host, you know, is the best guide for the traveler if you are staying in a home. So over to you, Karmaji, for your knowledge, how the homestays are doing in Sikkim. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And good afternoon to everybody from PHDCCI. Thank you for this opportunity. So my name is Karma Tatap. I'm from Sikkim. I also have a homestay here in Sikkim, and I'm one of the executive members of Homestay Association of Sikkim. So I take this opportunity, I think, to address, I think as the topic suggests, it's on border tourism in Sikkim. So in Sikkim, there are more than 600-700 homestays in Sikkim that are there. And the plan is in the next 1 year or so, there will be 1,000 homestays which will be added more. So there are a lot of homestays in Sikkim. I think tourism has been booming before COVID hit us. And because of the rise in homestays in Sikkim and even North Bengal, I think a lot of tourism has moved out from the cities, for example, Gangtok. It has gone to other places like in West Sikkim, South Sikkim, North Sikkim. I think that's something that's good, but I think a lot can be done in order to promote homestays and rural tourism more. I think one of the biggest issues that I'd like to point out is in terms of network connectivity. I think, for example, I think this boost in terms of encouraging tourism, encouraging homestay activity is something that our government, a lot of governments actually are working on. But you see, network connectivity becomes an issue when a homestay in West Sikkim and some rural village in West Sikkim, he or she opens a homestay, for them to list it in online platforms like Make My Trip or Airbnb, that becomes a problem because the network connectivity is not good. Oftentimes, I mean, data definitely, I think that becomes a problem in many places. Even on the phone, it becomes an issue. So for them to actually get bookings through online medium becomes very difficult. That is why a lot of our homestays actually they depend on word of mouth, which prior guests who have stayed there, a lot of travel agents also send, sometimes the drivers send, but word of mouth remains one of the biggest, I think, channels through which the homestays get bookings, because network connectivity and data connectivity issues are there in rural part of Sikkim. I think now the trend, as you have seen, because of COVID, I think there's a trend of vocation where people want to actually move to the villages, rural places, work from there. So I think Himachal and other places have benefited a lot because of good Wi-Fi connectivity. And that's something that I think if the homestays in rural areas could get some kind of Wi-Fi connectivity or better internet connectivity, I think it's something that a lot of tourists would love to explore, move away from the cities, work from here. I think that's something that can be really looked upon in future. Apart from that, I think as Mr. Bhuvan sir, I think he had mentioned North Sikkim, Gurdongma Lake, right? There are beautiful places in Sikkim that tourists can actually visit. But also in terms of talking about border tourism, I think foreigners visiting these places still remain a problem. I think homestays that are nearby in North Sikkim, I think they can, for North Sikkim, when you visit as a tourist, you're given a permit of 5 days only, post which again you have to renew the permits. For foreign tourists, you can only stay a maximum of 15 days in Sikkim. I think again you have to renew the permit. So these kind of problems do come about in terms of longer stays. I think if you have seen the news lately, I think a lot of the travel has become in terms of longer stays that people are looking at. Slow travel is what they say. So that's something that really goes well with homestay concept, village tourism, where people want to stay for longer time. And even foreigners, I think once things open up better, you see Nepal benefiting from a lot of these community homestays. That's something that I think Sikkim can also work on and benefit, especially with data connectivity being better, network connectivity being better, but also in terms of policies of allowing foreigners to stay for a longer time. And in the border areas also, if something can be done to extend their stays, even when they're going to Lachung, for example, North Sikkim, they have to go with a guide. They cannot visit Gurdongma Lake. No foreigner can visit Gurdongma Lake. So those are things that I think inhibits the foreigners who obviously spend higher as compared to, a lot of them spend higher as compared to domestic tourists. I think that's something that can be looked upon. And I think apart from that, if you look at West Sikkim and other places in terms of rural tourism, border tourism, there are places like Sandakphu treks, Singalila treks, even Goichara treks that a lot of people actually visit. But I think the problems of satellite phones, for example, because it is close to border, I think they are not allowed. So if anything, any mishap happens to a trekker, for obviously the data connectivity in these, when you're trekking to these mountains, will not be there. But if satellite phones were allowed, I think it's something that trekking companies in Sikkim and outside also, they could really use it, because if something goes wrong up there, there's no way for the person to communicate with the base. Like, what are the problems there? So that's satellite phone is also something that I think can be looked upon. And that's all I have to say. I think. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Sonamji, for giving Karmaji for giving us light about the homestays. And as you said, when people are going so far away, and especially the foreigners, they want to stay for a longer period of time. And this permit issue, which you have said, will also mention in our report. And I think doing an ease of business, they should give one-time permit for 15 or 21 days. So if they really want to boost the economy of that particular state. So I think now we are joined by Sonam Norgeji, the president of Travel Agents Association of Sikkim. Over to you, Sonamji, for your comments. Over to you. Sonamji, welcome.
Hello,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, network issues.
No, it's okay. Over to you now.
First of all, thank you so much, PhD Chamber of Commerce, for organizing this. It's a wonderful. Coming back to the topic, border tourism, highlighting the potential of tourism in border districts of India. So focusing on Sikkim, well, I would like to draw your attention in the western part of Sikkim. See, in western part of Sikkim, we have a great potential. If we see, it comes under alpine region, and its altitude ranging from 4,000 meters to 2,500 meters. And like you see famous already famous tourist place like Yoksam, Peling, Soreng, Barse, Nambu, Utare, Tashiding. These are very famous places already there in tourism map. So what I would like to share is it's a perfect, tourism destinations, right from the reach in biodiversities, and we have reach in culture, tradition, also handicraft, heritage. It's so many things can be done. Even we can do the mountaineering, trekking, mountain biking, and even bird watching. We have more than 500 species of birds. We have more than 1,000 species of butterflies, and everything we have for the perfect tourism destination. The only problem we are facing right now is the main problem is, as already our panelists have spoken, that connectivity is a main concern, number one. And number second, why it is lagging behind, though we have all the potential, tourism thing. The main reason is, I think, first thing is like we need this marketing and promotion is very important, and publicity, that is very important. And second thing is what important is this skill training is very important. Skill training, because see, why skill training is important is that there are people who are operating homestays. So we need like proper skill training for, we need proper trainings for homestay operators. And then like we have, as I already said, that we have more than 500 species of birds. We need a specialist. We need a bird watching guides. We need a butterflying guides. So we need to work in all these areas. Also, we need that foreign language guide trainings. So if we work in all these areas, I'm sure in coming days, this would be one of the best tourism destinations. And beside that, we can create, this also we have this Indo-Nepal borders, that is Chua Banjang. Road is already being constructed. If we develop this cross border tourism, so if we have a facility of, the ILP from this area, so we can have tourists, foreigners tourists directly from the borders from the Nepal, also vice versa. So these are the places if you work on, and as I said, this number one point is connectivity is very important. Then this skill training is very important. And that if we work on the connectivities in these areas, if you have concentrated, I'm sure this is going to be one of the best tourism destinations.
Thank you very much. You have given us a nice, the skill education is very, very important if you want to give a satisfied customer. So skill education, whether it's a homestay, so they should know how to deal with a tourist when he or she is staying in the home. Also, the guides are very important. The foreign language is also very important. And can you tell us, Sonamji, what is the best time to visit Sikkim? People
see, now the best thing is like this current government they are working very hard. They've already, as my friend, he has already spoken that the CM Chief Minister has already announced mega homestay project. So very soon our government will going to have more than 1,000 homestays, especially, and we'll be having in the Bhutia Lepcha and Bhutia Lepcha in Nepali. It'll be in 3 different culture traditions. So basically we can showcase our Bhutia culture, Bhutia tradition, our handicrafts, our local foods we can showcase. So very soon government will distribute these homestays. And see, also we are planning to have this monsoon tourism.
Okay.
So yeah, we are working on this monsoon tourism also. So otherwise, now you can throughout the year you can visit. Now see, what would I would like to tell you one thing is like today. See, if we had to compare with rest of the world in luxury tourism, we'll not able to compare. But the something which we have is not. Not other rest of the countries they have. Like we are focusing on offbeat tourism. That's a village tourism, homestay. So where we can show our cultures, they can have an experience to be with the local peoples and the local peoples, because in Sikkim we have Bhutia, Lepcha, and Nepali. So you can have experience with one of those communities, like in Lepcha. There you can see their food habit is different, their outfit is different, their house structure is different, their handicrafts is different. And then you can come. We'll also show them. We'll teach them how to cow milking. We'll show them a cow mill. We'll show them a farming. all these things. That is something different, that offbeat tourism where we are working on it. This is something, it's different and unique, because normally people come from the cities and different parts. They don't have this experience. Maybe they have all the luxuries, facilities. They've experienced all those 5-star hotels, but they have never experienced that, something uniqueness. So we are working on this.
Okay. So I think after this pandemic, people will not go to the big 5-star buildings of luxury hotels. They love to come to a place which is very close to nature and scenic beauty and fresh air. I think your state gives everything, whether it's a religion or mountains or wildlife, bird watching, everything, handicrafts, cuisine, everything is there. So the best part is how to do the marketing and awareness about your products.
Yes, and it's all.
Yeah.
And it's already happening. We can see like walk from mountains, and people are coming here and they're walking from the homestays. So if we can improve this network connectivity, internet connectivity, I'm sure people would love to come walk from mountains. They come here, be with the lepcha tradition of Nepali tradition, then they can walk from here itself.
That's true. That's true. And you have given a very good example of monsoon tourism. The Goa is doing wonders during the monsoon also. The Goa, they are getting more tourists during monsoon time than the summer time, So I can see a fan behind you. Do you need fans also in Sikkim sometimes?
Yeah, summer times we need. Now summertime temperature goes up to 25, 27. Yeah.
Oh, 25, 27. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
This is a very pleasant weather for all other parts of India, the north and south. So which they will really enjoy 25, 27. It's a good weather for them, but maybe hot for you. But I think it's a nice place. And thank you very much for sharing everything. Any other message you want to give to the travel agents of other parts of India, how to prepare or what they tell the customers before they visit Sikkim?
All I can say is like, they can come and experience with our culture, traditions, and our local foods. So and experience the Sikkimese offbeat tourism. We are working on it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your wonderful message. And before we come to an end, Pawanji, you want to say something? You have heard various eminent speakers. So any comments from you?
It sounds to be, seems to be very exotic to be there in the nature and with the people. There's nothing better than being with the people and knowing them. 5-star culture everybody has and everybody's experienced, but it's very rare that people invite you to their home and you can mingle with them and to know the local art and culture and handicrafts. This is wonderful, and I think we have to fix up a time when we can all visit our friend over there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks. I think today we conclude our 18 webinar series on border tourism, and which was a great experience, which started in June 21 and we are finishing in February 2022. And I think we hats off to the tourism committee under the leadership of Mr. Pawan S. Jain and Yogesh Srivastavaji, Sulagna, Sanjeev, and Sanchit. I think you have done an amazing job because the continuity was there. We have not even break one or missed one webinar, and which is a great message for all the states and for the Ministry of Tourism. We are also grateful to Ministry of Tourism, Niti Aayog, and all the state tourism who has given us a lot of support and guidance. And we will definitely come out with a white paper on all these 18 webinars on the border tourism. And I think that will be the future of travel and tourism. Border tourism will play a very important role. And I am very, very grateful on behalf of PHDCCI, Mr. Rohan Adwane, the IAS Additional District Magistrate, West Sikkim, Government of Sikkim. He has given us a very wonderful, information. Mr. Saurabh Rishi from Niti Aayog, Mr. S.S. Dev Burman, the Regional Director, India Tourism Northeast, Mr. Sonam Norgay, Mr. Karma, the great people from Sikkim, Mr. Purdeep Multani ji, our dynamic president, Mr. Pawan Sagar Jain, our chairman, Travel and Tourism Committee, Mr. Yogesh Srivastava, Additional Secretary General, PHDCCI, Sulagna, Sanchit, and Sanjeev from the dynamic team of Tourism Committee of PHDCCI. So we always believe in continuity, and our Tourism Committee of PHDCCI is always on the move. So our next event will be which will be a physical event in the month of April in Mumbai, our 5th annual Film Tourism Conclave. And Mr. Dave Burman has given us a nice information that already films are shot in Sikkim, so which we will share this in our coming Film Tourism Conclave. So once again, stay safe, and tourism and travel will bounce back very soon. Thank you very much. God bless all. Thank you.